have experienced God in this great assembly, year in and year out. Praise the name of the Lord. Bless Jehovah God. 1 Samuel chapter 25, have you found? 1 Samuel chapter 25. Look at verse 4 together with me. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did share his sheep. And David sent out 10 young men. And David said unto the young men, get you up, go to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name. Somebody say, greet him in my name. And thus shall you say unto him that liveth in prosperity, peace be both to thee, and peace be to thy house, and peace be unto all that thou hast. Somebody say prophecy. And now I have heard that thou hast shearers. Now thy sheep shepherds were with us. We heard them not, neither was there aught missing unto them. All the while they were in Carmel. Ask the young men, and they will tell you exactly that this is what happened. Wherefore let the young men find favor in thy eyes, for we are coming in a good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh unto thy hand, unto thy servants, and to the son of David. And somebody following me here this morning. And when the young men of David came, they spake unto Nabal according to all the words that David had spoken in the name of David, and ceased. Somebody said in the name of David. In the name of David. Not in the name of Jesus. They spake all these things in the name of David and ceased. Waiting for response. And Nabal answered David's servant and said, who is David? Somebody following me this morning. And who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away from his master. So you know David. And you are asking, who is David? So you know David's father. And you are still asking, who is David? Is somebody following me here? Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers, and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be? These guys didn't come on their own. These guys came under the name of David. I want to talk to somebody here this morning. And so David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told him all those things. And David said unto his men, prepare for war. Every man pick up your sword. We are going to settle matters today. Praise the name of the Lord. Hallelujah. This morning I want to share with us very briefly on what I personally captioned, honor the watchmen. Honor the watchmen. I'm sure some of you, whenever these kinds of messages are being preached on the altar, you begin to perceive pastors as people who are lazy, who are actually trying to use all kinds of strategies and all kinds of steps or whatever thing you may choose to call it, to get your substance or to rid you of your substance. Remember from the text we have just read, the man said, how can I take my flesh, my labor and my blood, and give to some young men whom I do not know? Is somebody following me here this morning? Honor watchmen. Let me start by saying that there are certain sets of people whom God has strategically positioned in your life. And these men are not just there on ceremonial basis. They are commissioned by Jehovah God to open the new chapter in your life. Am I talking to somebody here? The Bible says that by a prophet was Israel brought out of the land of Egypt, and by a prophet was he preserved. So Israel is a he. Can I talk to someone this morning? So Moses was a prophet and Joshua was a prophet, because it was by the hand of Moses that the children of Israel left the land of Egypt. It was by the hand of Joshua that the children of Israel had their portion in the promised land. I don't know who I'm talking to this morning. Honor watchmen. Those days when I was a young boy, anytime a man is addressed as a watchman, I always look at that person with disdain. But some of you don't understand why God chooses to call his servants watchmen. Can I help somebody here? But when I grew up, I began to appreciate the importance of the watchman's ministry in our lives. Psalm 127 from verse 1. The psalmist laments, except the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain that builds. Except the Lord watches over a city, the watchman waketh but in vain. Oh, you don't understand scriptures. Can I stretch you this one? God, as a matter of fact, is the greatest of all the watchmen, because God himself is a watchman. The God with whom we have dealings with neither sleeps nor slumbers. Day and night he is watching over his people. Day and night he is watching over his covenants. Day and night he is watching over his word. God has so many things to watch over. That's why he cannot sleep. Am I helping somebody? The day God raises your status to become a watchman, you will lose sleep by force. Can I help somebody here? The day God raises your status, a friend of mine, a pastor friend of mine, shared a testimony with me many years ago that God raised his status in one day, and somebody gave him a gift of 1 million naira, and he carried it back home and kept it in his house. That night himself and his wife could not sleep. Am I talking to somebody here? They prayed all through the night for two reasons. Not because they wanted to pray, but because they had lost sleep. And number two, they didn't know who was watching when they got the 1 million. And so they were praying, shaka baba yanda. They pulled the curtain and see if somebody is sleeping to see if they are asleep. Masasa koto koto koto. They pulled this curtain and see till daybreak. Why? Because the Lord has raised his status. The day God raises your status, you will lose sleep. I don't know if I'm talking to somebody. Some of you, the way you sleep, Dangote does not sleep that way. He does not sleep that way. Some of you, the way you sleep, the way some pastors sleep, Bishop Oyedepo does not sleep that way. Am I helping somebody here this morning? The reason why sleep is an absence of commitments and responsibility. One who lacks commitment and responsibility sleeps anyhow. Can I talk to somebody? Because when you have heavy commitments, sleep will disappear from your eyes. You will not know the difference between night and day. I don't know if I'm talking to somebody here. Oh my God. Honor watchmen. Is somebody following me here?
Yes, sir.
Honor watchmen. Don't be like what I used to be many years ago. When somebody addresses himself as a watchman, I will begin to despise the person. But I discovered spiritually that a watchman is a strategic person, physically or spiritually, that is positioned. Am I helping somebody here? To keep awake while you are asleep. There are some of you listening to me this morning that but not for the times of prayers, but not for the hours I was awake when you were asleep, you would have been a corpse this morning. There are some of you listening to me, but not for the fact that God had to start me at unholy hours of the night to stand in my place as a priest and as a watchman to see that the enemy is about to bring evil upon somebody, and we began to intercede. There is a brother sitting in service this morning that God raised us up as a watchman and showed us a revelation. After that revelation, I and my wife have been praying earnestly for that brother that he will not lose his marriage. So do what? Honor watchmen. Back to the story. Nabal is one very mischievous character in the scriptures. Till today, I am trying to understand how Nabal, in spite of the character flaws he had, was able to become prosperous. Because nobody succeeds in isolation. For you to succeed, you must connect your weakness to a strength somewhere. I don't know if I'm talking to someone. Yes, sir. How he was able to become prosperous is a mystery. But God had prospered him after all. Somebody say God had prospered him after all. He became very prosperous. And by way of divine coincidence, he became connected with David. And David's presence comforted him and his entire household. Can I talk to somebody here? Do you know what the presence of David and his men was? The Bible says, David, as he was recounting his experience, said that we were like a wall round about the entire household of Nabal. Because all the people who thought they could come and rob Nabal will not, because David was there and his men. All the people who had envied Nabal will not come and take any that belongs to him, because David was there. Listen to me. When God withdrew the wall around Job, the first thing you will notice is that thieves broke into his farmland and took away the heads. Am I talking to somebody here? And so David said, by day and by night we were a wall. Am I talking to somebody here? And it was payback time. And the man decided to dishonor a watchman. Tell your neighbor, honor a watchman.
Honor a watchman.
And the consequences was not palatable. Somebody say, honor a watchman. David had made up his mind that as far as he is concerned, nothing will live in Nabal's house. But thank God for the wife of Nabal, Abigail, who interceded and stopped David from killing Nabal. But God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man, whoever the man may be, perhaps it might interest you to know that God decided to kill Nabal by himself. Because a sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the hearts of the sons of men are fully set in them to do evil. Let me announce to you that every time God delays judgment, it's simply because he's giving an invitation for repentance. Is somebody following me this morning? Yeah. God himself, even when David did not go to kill, God said, all right, since this woman has stopped David, I will single out the man who troubled David and kill him for the sake of David. Am I talking to somebody here? Yes, I will kill him for the sake of David, since he does not understand the importance of the watchman's ministry. Who is a watchman? If you have a pen and paper, take this down. A watchman is a strategic person whom God has placed at the gateway of the phases of your life. A watchman is a person whom God has strategically positioned at the gateway of the phases of your life. Listen to me. Every man's life is in phases. You were once upon a time an embryo. After that, you graduated from that phase into becoming what? a baby. And then you enter into the infant stage. And after so many weeks and months went by, you graduated from being an infant into a toddler. That's when you start behaving like Pinnacle. She's now a toddler. Very adventurous. Everything seems very exciting. Praise the name of the Lord.
Hallelujah.
And then from the toddler stage, you enter into what? Adolescence. And then after 12, and you cross over 12 into 13, you have become what? A teenager. And then from 18, according to Nigerian constitution, you are an adult now. If you commit a crime, you can go to jail. Am I talking to somebody here? And then an adult stage begins from 18 up till when the day you will die. Somebody follow me this morning. In every stage of your life, there are strategic people that God has kept as watchmen. Perhaps this may shock you. When we use the word watchman, mostly in church it applies to pastor. But your father, your mother is a watchman. Am I talking to somebody? And that's why if you're a child in this church, your father and mother is still alive, and you cannot buy them biscuit and coke. You have already dug the grave of your destiny, no matter how small. Because every father appreciates and understands the stages and phases a child is in or is going through. Is somebody following me? Watchmen. Honor what? Watchmen. Honor watchmen. There were times you couldn't take decisions for yourself. Thank God your father took the best decision. That's why you're still alive. Had the father of Jesus not run away with Jesus to Egypt, there wouldn't have been a church today. He took a decision. He took a decision. And the parents of Moses, they decided to put their neck on line. When they looked at Moses and said, this child is different from every other child that we have, we will hide him. Somebody say hide him. Hide him. Somebody ready for service? That's a watchman at work. Whatever is going to cost us, we will hide him. They hid him successfully for 3 months. Do you know what it means to hide a child successfully for 3 months? It takes a skillful craftsmanship of a watchman. That means they didn't need to sleep. They needed to make sure that when the child cries, nobody hears. They needed to make sure that when the child weeps, nobody knows. One of the things people say in my language that it is very difficult to hide a child. The reason is that when a child is born in a place, the child will make an announcement in the neighborhood. I have arrived, I have arrived. And the child has a way of doing this announcement. It is always done in an unusual hours. Somebody's not ready for service here. That's why Jesus said until you become a child, you will not be spiritually relevant. Because when you become a child spiritually, there is an announcement in the realm of the spirit that a destiny has been born. I don't know if I'm preaching to the right congregation. Can I go ahead this morning?
Yes, sir.
Hey, they were watchmen, skillful one for that matter. Every day, the soldiers of Pharaoh were patrolling, with big swords, with big spear, passing through their house. But they didn't know that there was a child in that house. 3 months as watchmen, they successfully. I caught my cab for Yekobe. Is somebody ready for service here? The father and mother of Moses, they hid him for 3 months. When they could no longer hide him, But when you take a step of faith, God enlarges the steps. Somebody's not ready for service here. Sometimes you don't need to have much to take a step of faith. You can carry the little in your hand. Some of you are struggling with covenant paper. Some of you have already made up your minds. You will not feel covenant paper. That's your cup of tea. But let me announce to you, let some other person give his million. You can enter into a covenant with God with 1,000. God, if you prosper my business, I will buy fuel in church with 1,000. It's a covenant. It's not until you say I will buy pastor aeroplane, that's when it becomes a covenant. Am I helping somebody here? That's a covenant. I will always buy water for celebration service. It's a covenant. I will contribute every Wednesday for the food evangelism. It's a covenant. It's a covenant. It's a covenant. Some of you who don't have money. I heard a wonderful story of a young boy who heard the pastor preach and made demands for money for people who will give money. When he watched, he looked at himself, he didn't have money. He didn't have nothing to give. He just bounced out and stood on top of the offering tree. They begged him to come down. I said, why are you standing on top of the tree? He said, I have nothing to give. I have decided to give myself. Some of you, what God is looking for is not your money, it's yourself. Every time there is a clarion call on Wednesday, yourself is there. Every time there is a prayer meeting on Friday, yourself is there. Every time there is a rehearsal for choir, yourself is there. And every time there is a rehearsal for choir, yourself is there. Not just there, but right on time. Your covenant can be covenant of timekeeping. Timekeeping. It's a covenant. It's a covenant. Yes. I want to talk to somebody here this morning. It's a covenant. It's not until you carry millions in your hand. You can decide to say, is somebody ready for service here? Sweeping the church is a covenant. Weeding grasses is a covenant. It's a covenant. Dusting altar is a covenant. Polishing pastor's shoes is a covenant. Washing pastor's clothes is a covenant. Cooking soup for pastor is a covenant. Cooking soup for the poor is a covenant. It's a covenant. Am I helping somebody this morning? Am I helping somebody this morning? This watchman skillfully heed. Alright, number 2 definition of who is a watchman. A watchman is an eye for the people. You know, one of the most profound sermon that Jesus preached was that the blind cannot lead the blind. Otherwise, both the blind and the lame will fall into the ditch. One of the things you need to avoid in life is not to fall into a ditch. You can't fall into a ditch and continue your journey. You must retreat and clean up and continue the journey. Is somebody following me here? Yes, sir. There is nobody here who is going for an important. For instance, I'm dressed this way, I'm going to church, and I trip and fall inside the gutter. I say, oh no. I must hit church. I will no longer hit church, I will hit my home. And in the course of hitting my home, I have lost time. And remember, if you want to be successful in life, time is of what? Essence. If you want to be successful in life, time. Maximize the moment. So you must avoid, you must try as much as possible not to fall into the ditch. If you're wearing a white, no. Am I talking to somebody here? You see, God had to pass me through certain experience so that I can understand spiritual things better. I remember once upon a time, I was caught and punished. There is something we used to call Dirty Boys Club in my school. Where once your uniform is dirty, they launch you into that club the whole of that day. They will mess you up. You will dance around the school. You will march. We are the Dirty Boys Club of Sparkle. When I was done with that humiliation, am I helping somebody here? I understood the spiritual dynamic. God began to use that experience to teach me what it means to guide your white garment. I bought white handkerchief. When I want to sit down in classroom, I spread the white handkerchief on the chair and carefully put my bum and keep my legs straight. I will not turn to the right, I will not turn to the left, lest it stain. Am I helping somebody this morning? And that experience taught me a very big lesson spiritually. Some of you need to act boldly to make help. There are a lot of messy people in the world. There are a lot of contaminated people in the world. The day you enrolled in a secondary school, your senior walks up to you and say, hey, be my school daughter. Innocently, you don't know that senior is a chief lesbian in the school. And you covenant with the person unknowingly. And then he said, I will protect you. He offers protection from punishment. She offers protection from one thing or the other. Before you know, in the night, she begins to become funny. And today you have become a victim. Not only have you become a victim, you have already also victimized others. May the Lord deliver you this morning by fire. There are a lot of people who are messed up in the world. And because they are messed up, they are looking for more people to mess up. They want to stain your white garment. And anybody who wants to bring you unnecessary, I will say, Tell your neighbor, Somebody ready for service here? I just noticed I'm on camera. I would have sung an epic song. Can I talk to someone this morning? No one knows stain. There is a proverb in my language that says that a white goat does not tolerate stain. Have you noticed that before? When a goat is pure white, it doesn't need to bath. It is pure white. And when you see a white goat, you can tell. Even if it smells, the goat is as clean as. Is somebody ready for service here? Somebody's not following me here. God said in the book of Ecclesiastes, let your garment be always white and let your head lack no oil. Is somebody following me this morning? I feel like preaching to somebody. A watchman is an eye. It's an eye. It's an eye to the people. Because you will sleep. There is no harm. As you begin to ascend the mountains of life, there are moments of weakness. What will keep you is who is watching over you. Jesus said to Peter, Peter, I've seen ahead. The devil has decided to have you. And he wants to sift you like wheat. You know, when you put things inside a sifting basket, you begin to go like cha cha cha. He wants to sift you like wheat. But I have prayed for you that your faith will not fail. Peter, when you're converted, help others who are in the mess too. Am I helping somebody this morning? Am I helping somebody this morning? There are a lot of messed up people in the world, and they are disappointed with their life. They have become disillusioned, disenchanted, completely flabbergasted and overwhelmed, and flustered and pent up. And so they are out to make sure that they will not remain in the ditch themselves. And that's why they are out to pull others down. My prayer for you is that you will not be a victim of such people in the world. You know what will keep you? Watchman. 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 Number 3, the watchman is a night specialist. I'll give you one more point and then I pray. It's a night specialist. The watchman is what? It's a night specialist. He specializes in night duties. It's a night specialist. Not many persons have the capacity to be night specialists. Not many persons can drive in the night. Not many persons can walk in the night. There are some of you, when darkness covers immediately, your eye begins to blink. Am I helping somebody? Yes, sir. Some of you, before 8 o'clock, when once the clouds becomes dark, am I helping somebody here? Yes, sir. It takes a lot of discipline to become a night specialist. That's why watchmen must be honored.